So I definitely want that on right now because the very next thing I'm going to do is create a coating layer. So I'm going to say menu, insert, coating, coating layer, select the whole region, nice. And then I'm going to go to physical materials and I'm going to go to the primer. Now the primer has thickness, it's got weight 0.0013 kilograms per millimeters cubed, and we simply say okay. The color by default is black, and I'm just going to change it to white. There's that. Coverage ratio 1. Thickness of the primer will be 0.0012, and I will say okay to the primer. So now we have the primer, and as you can see, the primer is actually a component, if you will. It's a non-geometric component. Now, you should know that when we're applying these coatings, it doesn't actually change the surface. You can't really see it as a three-dimensional entity. If you want to do that, you can always do an offset of the surface or thicken of the surfaces and emulate it like that, but it's generally not necessary. The coating layer that I just put on was primer, and I'm going to rename it here. Primer. All right. I'm going to do one more layer for that whole big region, and that is I'm going to do a coating layer for the red paint. Red paint. I'm going to select that whole thing. So I'm going to dip the whole thing in red paint also, or just spray it. I'm going to, now wait a second, let's back up for a second. I primed the whole thing, but the red paint should only go on the outside surfaces. So at this time, it's smart to make a region. And so I'm going to insert a coating region, and I'm going to say tangent faces. So when I say tangent faces, I only get the ones on the outside. So that's great. And I'm going to say okay there. I'm going to go in my model navigation tool and say, I'm going to rename this as outside surfaces. And we're only going to paint what's on the outside. Terrific. So now we can simply insert a coating layer. It's going to go into the paint stack coating layer. I'm going to select the region I just created. I'm sorry, the thickness is going to be, let's do the red paint. And the thickness, 0.02. The coating layer is going to be called red paint, and say okay. And there it is, the red paint. And finally, I want to put blue paint in these little regions. So now I've got to create different regions. So I'm going to say insert a coating region. And this region is going to be a single face that looks like that, the boundary that looks like this, and then it has to, and then it, when I select a face and a boundary, then I've got to select the region of that boundary. Select region. So there it is. So it makes a coating region. I'm going to rename it as side plate. Okay, side plate. It's the side plate region. I'm going to make another one with F4 is repeat last command. And we're going to do this single face with all of this in here. So there's our region. And this one is going to be called the other side plate. And now, finally, we're going to finish this off by 2 blue coatings in this paint stack. And so we're going to insert a coating layer. This is going to be the blue. We're going to select a region. Go to physical material. Here's the blue paint. Blue. I'm going to say the blue 1 and the blue 2. The blue 1. Say okay there. Nice. F4, repeat last. We're going to select that one. I'm going to call this the blue 2. They're going to be separate because, we're going to fixture this thing and spray it, and then we'll rotate it and spray it again. So there's going to be 2 different regions. And say OK. All right, now we can see that the weight has gone up. We can see the weight of each of these layers is actually something that you can see in the navigator. That's fantastic. When we go to the assembly navigation tool, we can see the different components that we've added: the primer, the red paint, the blue paint. And I've got to say, this is a pretty fantastic thing. It serves the purpose of having a a model that is more accurate to what's really going on. And that is definitely the principle of the digital twin in model-based definition. Just going to finish off by hiding the datum planes, etc. And there you have it. Again, my name is Steve Samuel. Thanks so much for watching. Please help out by subscribing, liking, share it with your 1,000 of your closest friends. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks again.